Have you ever built your very own gaming computer? You go online, find the parts, watch Linus Tech Tips for like 10 hours, then you put it all together, you take the moon, you take the sun, you smash it together, and then you boot it up and everything is just perfect. Congratulations, we are now mortal enemies, and I will see you in the ring at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Ever since I got home from my vacation, I have been having the weirdest computer problems ever. I have spent 14 days to fix this goddamn problem, and if I had to suffer, you guys have to suffer as well. So welcome to a giant lore dump of a dumpster cluster of a video. My streaming computer that I use for like streaming and recording videos on have been sitting in here in my office for the month that I was on vacation. Nothing has changed. I come back home, I plug in my PC to my USB ports, my monitors and everything. I boot it up, I log into Epic Games. PC suddenly dies. Black screen, no Windows era, no blue screen of death, no nothing, just black screens, and then slowly boots up again a couple of minutes later. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. Maybe it's just like a one-time glitch, something like that. Then it happens again. And it happens again, and another time, and another one, and another one. And it always happens when I do specific things, like whenever I log into the Epic launcher, when I open iQ, when I open Steam or log into Steam, the PC literally just dies. So I do a little bit of researching, right? I go on Reddit. Oh my god, Reddit. I go on Reddit and I search for possible problems. And people say that it could be your power supply or it could be your RAM. So after doing a little bit more test, I'd be like, damn, okay, I gotta buy some new components. So I buy a power supply and I buy some other RAM. I basically buy identical components except for the RAM. I buy some Kingston Fury instead of the Corsair that I have. My power supply is a modular one. So all I gotta do is like take out the cables, swap the old one, put the new one in, put it back in, boot the PC up, and then it crashes. It dies. Then I swap the RAM, and guess what? It still dies. I am losing my sanity. So after swapping the power supply and the RAM, the computer continues to die, and I simply do not understand why it does that. I do a little bit more digging, a little bit more research. I need this to do my job, to do my work, because if it isn't working, then... So after being a little degenerate and going on Reddit for a little longer, I found out that people say that it could be the motherboard or it could be the CPU. And at this point, if I buy a new motherboard and a new CPU, I have an entirely new computer except for my case and my water cooler. So what do you think I did? I bought the exact same motherboard, the exact same CPU, and then I start gritty. And then I start working on it. I take out the CPU first, check that, still dies. I take out the motherboard with new CPU, new RAM, new power supply. I'm ripping my hair off. I am 10 years older. The computer still dies. At this point, I'm crying. I'm shitting, I'm pissing, and I'm coming in the corner, and I don't understand what is going on. Everything that I have tried a new Windows install. I had like, the fun thing is that I bought this computer back in April last year, and something about the new AM5, like if you're a nerd, you know about this, but the new AM5 platform from AMD has had so many problems that it's just weird that it happened now. I remember when I built my PC, I tried with an Asus motherboard, and my camera would just freeze all of a sudden, and that didn't work, so I had to switch it out for MSI. MSI for the win. Never buy Asus when it comes to motherboard. Fuck that shit. And like, I had a lot of problems building my new setup, moving from AM4 to the AM5 system. And then everything went well for like the past year or so, until I come back home and everything just dies. So at this point now, I'm thinking, or you might be thinking, could it be the graphics card? Could it be the GPU that's the problem? And from my personal experience, I have tried a GPU die on me while you're gaming. I have a very vivid memory of me playing Metro Last Light. That one point when you get down into one of the tunnels, you have like a torch. You have like a torch with you, and I saw that my GPU would just like melt and distort around the flame, and the graphics would like tear up, and the PC suddenly died. So I have experienced a dying GPU in my life before. So I know what a giant GPU looks like. But I tried it. I tried it without GPU, with GPU, with one monitor, with some USB ports. Like I tried I tried plugging just a few USB ports in and trying to get it to work, and it would still crash for some reason. So at this point I'd be like, okay, I've tried everything. I tried with an old Windows install. The older Windows install I had, like, that's how I back up. I have, like, an older SSD that has, like, my older Windows installed, so if anything happened, I could just, like, plug that in. I plugged that in, tested it out, still crashed, so I know now it's not the hard drive that's the issue. At this point, I'd be like, I am already, like, $2,000, $3,000 in. I might just go all the way, like $1,500. So I buy a new GPU, I buy a new water cooler, and I buy a new case. So the only thing I'm reusing from my older setup is my M.2 SSD and my other SATA SSD. So all the parts arrive last week for me. I set it up, I built the computer, I built an entirely new PC, Ryzen 9 7900X, RTX 4090, 32 gigabytes of G-Skill RAM. And the computer still hangs itself whenever I boot that bitch up. So at this point, I can't take it anymore. I call up a PC repair shop, I go down to them, I test it, and of course everything works. Everything works. I drive down, it's like a half an hour away from me. I drive down to the repair shop, he sets up the PC, and I tell him this is usually like when I log into Epic Games, when I open IQ, when I log into Steam, that is when it happens. He tests it out, runs some benchmarks on it, some stress tests and everything. He's like, everything is a-okay. Could a monitor kill my computer? Like, could it be like some electrical signal that goes into my computer that kills it? Or is it a USB device? But it's just unheard of. Is it? That like, what if my Stream Deck or my microphone, or what if any of the USB devices that I use is killing my system or sending voltage into my system? Could that be it? And he says it could be likely, it could be a probability, it could be a thing that it actually does it. Drive back home. And then over the course of an hour, over the course of 2 hours, I slowly and steadily plug in USB devices. I start with one monitor, mouse and keyboard. Then I do my microphone, my Stream Deck, my camera, my headphones, my other monitor, my third monitor, and it works. Holy shit, it works! The one thing that I changed, the single thing that I changed in my setup is that I have a USB hub in one of my monitors. I have an AOC monitor where there's a literal integrated USB hub into it. And I use that for something like I have like a dongle for my Xbox controller, and I use that for like charging, or I have a USB cable like transferring USB. I just like have this cable in, so when I transfer footage from one PC to the other, then I can easily do that. And by simply not plugging in that USB hub, fixed everything. So I am now $4,000 in debt on a new computer. I streamed on my Sleepstream PC. I have like an image here that I can show you. This was my ghetto bootleg setup for the first You Laugh You Lose. They will release like, I think tomorrow. If I release this on a Friday, it will come out tomorrow so you guys can see. But I managed to get it to work. But Jesus Christ, what an experience I've had over the past 2 weeks. And of course, it's always when you need it, and when you come back from a vacation, or like, it sucks when electronics are... It sucks when you depend on electronics. If you need your phone to do your job, or if you need your PC to do your job, and it just suddenly dies, that is the worst shit ever. I remember when I had to like, when I did one of the fake streams many years ago. I actually do want to do another one at some point, but they take a lot of time and energy to do so. When I did one of the fake streams, I remember that it would like scramble the frames. The frames would like move back and forward, which is like, it gives you like a nightmare strobe feeling whenever you're watching it. And it took me like 2 weeks to figure out what the issue was, and I just had to update. And usually they say you don't update in the middle of a project because that will fuck you over more than it will help you. But in this case, updating my editing program basically fixed the problem for me, and then I could export the video without any like strobing or stuttering or anything like that. But Jesus Christ, I don't think I'm ever gonna build a gaming PC again, to be honest. Like, the pain and suffering and the amount of money I've spent. I don't know if you guys know I don't know if you guys know Cadigarus, Caddy, if I can find him. Cadigarus, they basically went through the same problem like 2 years ago. Their problem was that their PC would just die all of a sudden. Basically the same thing that I experienced, where I could sit on it, I could work, maybe stream, and then suddenly, poof, black screen, no Windows error, no nothing. And their solution solution was basically to buy an entirely new PC. Like, they bought different motherboards, different CPUs, and in the end, they were just like, you know what? I'm not gonna go custom build. I'm gonna go pre-build in the end for this bitch. So I think that's what I'm gonna do in the future. Like, what's the takeaway from this video? What's the moral of the story? Don't build a PC. Is that the moral? Maybe I'm just getting old, man. I'm 28, but maybe it seems like building a PC in this day and age is way more troublesome and just gives you a whole bunch of turbulence rather than just being adult Legos. I used to love building computers because I thought it was like fun putting all the pieces and all the gear together. And now it's just pure nightmare, dude. If I have to swap another graphics card, I will strangle a But now, knock on wood, the PC is working. Everything that I need is a single power cable. If you guys don't know, the 40 series cards use like a new power connector, and there's something like it can catch on fire if it's not plugged in correctly. So I'm waiting for that cable, and then I can, my PC cabinet is basically open right now because the cables are, I haven't cable managed it. So as soon as I get that cable, I can cable management, I can lock it back up. And one thing that I totally didn't mention is that my USB port broke as well. I had my girlfriend over this weekend. I basically tried to plug in my USB dongle for my Xbox controller into my front USB, and that bent the pins. I have like an image I can show you. It literally bent the pins on my front USB, and I was like, at this point, I have suffered enough. I'm just gonna tape it over, and I'm not gonna use the front USB. And if anything happens, I can just buy a USB hub, and everything will be Gucci. And I am coping very, very hard, and I am bold at this point. So I'm gonna leave that be. Everything seems to work now. I just gotta replace a cable, do a little bit of cable management, put on my side panel, and then everything is Gucci, and we can move on to making videos. This has been a certified StanleyMOV yapping session. If you enjoyed it, drop a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. And if you have a large penis, type 1 in chat. That's gonna be it for this round, everybody. Again, like I mentioned last one, I want to do more yapping sessions. I think like it's a really fun exercise for me, and I feel like I've done pretty good today. It's like I woke up an hour ago. It's almost 10 here. I'm still getting my coffee and, you know, waking up and everything. But I feel like these yapping sessions are like a really good exercise for me to, like, you know, just have fun without being on stream and just sit here and basically just sit here, have fun, and basically do what I want to do. So if you guys enjoy these, and if you watch these, I'm happy to make these. I want to, just like I mentioned, I want to make some Twitter videos. I'm just waiting. Like, I can tell you about my notes app right now. I'm just yapping to extend this ad revenue. I love ad revenue. I have like a list on my phone of content ideas, but I deleted them. But I remember I wanted to talk about the Amaranth vagina beer because I thought that was incredibly funny. My notes app is basically empty at this point. But if you guys, you know what? I'm gonna throw the ball over in your court. If you guys have any funny topics you want me to talk about or look into, let me know down in the comments. Put a comment in. If I find anything funny on Twitter that I want to mention or talk about, I'm gonna do that at some point. I don't want to do these videos too frequently. If I can do like one a week, then I'll be happy. If it'll be one every other week, then I'm also happy. But I don't just want this to be pyrocynical. I don't want to turn into pyrocynical. I don't want to just make slop content. I still love making you laughy loose and so on. I definitely need to make a video where I update you guys on the sleep streams, because last time I did was in my 400k Q&A. I mentioned that I was taking a break, but I don't think people watched that entire thing. So I might just at some point be like, yo, guys, sleep streams are sleeping at the moment, but they will be back whenever I feel like it. I'm done yapping. Like, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna drink some coffee, and I'm gonna get ready for stream till later. Okay? Bye. Mwah.